My name is Livia Pasco, and this is my country presentation on South Africa and 7-Eleven. So, just to start, I want to talk about why 7-Eleven failed in Indonesia. Basically, they failed to adapt to the local consumer preferences. They didn't change any of the products to align with the local tastes and the foods that are aligned with the culture in Indonesia. In addition, there were other local brands that kind of like took over the market, so it was already a saturated market, and 7-Eleven just had too much competition. A lot of the consumers preferred the traditional local brands, and they didn't like the prepackaged food and drinks that 7-Eleven offered. They preferred to go to like local eateries over the convenience stores, but they also did have like convenience stores that were more successful. And 7-Eleven came in with like a store layout that was really unusual to Indonesians, and the price came in too high. So I'm going to talk about a country that I do think 7-Eleven would succeed in, and that's South Africa. Just because there's a growing middle class, so people are going to work, and maybe on their way to work they need something quick and convenient to get like a coffee, and that's what 7-Eleven kind of offers. They have a well established infrastructure already, and they're already familiar with international brands. Like, there's a lot of American countries entering South Africa that are doing well, such as Walmart, which is a convenient, affordable grocery store chain. So I feel like 7-Eleven could be another option because it's highlights convenience and affordability. So, a little bit about South Africa. It's known for its rich wildlife and safari tourism. People from around the globe come to go to their national parks and reserves. One of the common quirks in South African English is to use the term now, which doesn't mean that something will happen like right now, but it will happen soon. So it indicates that something will happen. It's coming, but it's not immediate. So I feel like this quirk kind of contributes to 7-Eleven because they are thinking about like, okay, how can I get this now? How can I get this conveniently? Like, which I think is just interesting. Um, yeah, so then a lot of the culture is like commuter culture in South Africa because a lot of people spend a lot of time traveling to and from work or school, and they use a lot of the public transportation like minibuses, trains, or taxis, which is super convenient. The infrastructure is really good. There's a lot of highways, roads, and there's that just reinforces the demand for the quick, affordable, and accessible drink and food options that 7-Eleven offers because there's a high worker and commuter rate. So the entry strategy that I would use if I were 7-Eleven to enter South Africa would be a joint venture. So they would do this by, joining with a local retail company, which would help them utilize the local partners' market knowledge, establish distribution networks, and then understanding of the regulatory requirements. Also, like, it would help them navigate the competitive retail landscape because there are so many like businesses in South Africa, and then it would help with the trust from the local consumers. And then another thing that would maybe help build the trust from the local consumers would be including local preferences such as mealy bread, vet coke, or borrower rolls. To talk about the infrastructure in South Africa, there's a lot of road transportation. There's a lot of road networks, especially in the urban areas. There's large cities, so the roads here are very established, and it facilitates efficient logistics and supply chain operations so they can get the products to the local chains. The rail and air transportation is very developed with the freight transportation for trains, as well as major airports. They have like Johannesburg and Cape Town. So in these cities, I would say maybe like bringing 7-Eleven into these cities first and seeing how they do in such a big urban area, because you see more and more people in South Africa moving to these areas, these cities. South Africa also has a relatively high internet penetration rate, so 70% of the population has internet access. One of the challenges would be managing the occasional power outages. But I still think that there's value in entering South Africa and that 7-Eleven could find success. So why I think 7-Eleven will succeed in South Africa? There's a growing demand for convenience retail, so urbanization and a busy middle class are driving the need for quick and accessible shopping options. They're already familiar with international brands, American brands. They're very receptive to these global retail chains, and I think that 7-Eleven would also be welcome, especially in the big cities. In addition, the population is comfortable with digital technologies, which it would support like 7-Eleven's digital services and payment systems. So yeah, thank you.